Good morning, children. In the last video, we have done third chapter. Na? So today I am going to explain that second chapter, section D was pending. Na? The theory was pending. So that theory we will be doing today. Okay. So we'll start with today. We'll start with section D. First question. And section C, I think A, B, and C I have completed fully. And if anything is left out, please message me. I will explain it in other videos. So today, section D. The first question is, what is the necessity of classification in statistical study? The necessity of classification in the statistical study is due to following reasons. Why the classification is necessary? Why we are doing the classification? हमने tabulation, class, discrete ये सब किस चीज के लिए जरूरी होता है? To represent large data into a simple, short and attractive manner for easy comparison between the various characteristics of the data, to save time, money and labor for the analysis of data, and to obtain information easily regarding various characteristics of the data under study. So to get a clear picture of the different variables, like if we are taking the rate of two things produced in a company, so at a one side only we will come to know whether they these two companies, out of these two companies, which company is producing more or producing more, and which company is having more profit, which company is facing loss, and all those things we will be getting from a one side from a graph. If we are doing a classification, if we are arranging it a proper way, then we will be getting a clear picture of the data, right? So this is the things that is necessary to do classification, right? Now next question is explain the classification of numeric data with an appropriate illustration. So the classification of a numeric data is called a numerical classification or a quantitative classification, right? Numerical classification को हम क्या बोलते हैं? Sorry, numeric data को हम क्या बोलते हैं? Numerical classification or a quantitative classification. Illustration is, if the data are collected on printing mistakes per page of a book of 50 pages, then 50 observations on printing mistakes per page are obtained. Studying this ungrouped data, it is observed that there are 10 pages having 0 printing mistake, 18 pages having 1 printing mistakes, and 10 pages having 2 printing mistakes and 12 pages having 2 printing mistakes. Thus, the process of dividing the data in this manner is called a numerical classification, which can be present in a tabular form as follows. So, see, from this table, it is very much clear that the number of pages, यानी एक भी पेज में 10 से ज़्यादा mistakes नहीं है, यानी 10 number of pages, 10 pages में 0 mistakes निकले हैं. Total कितने pages है हमारे पास? 50 pages है. उसमें से 10 पेजेस में 0 मिस्टेक्स, एक भी मिस्टेक्स नहीं है. तो 18 पेजेस ऐसे हैं जिसमें एक एक मिस्टेक्स निकले, एक ही मिस्टेक है. 18 पेज में एक ही मिस्टेक्स है. एंड 10 पेजेस में से 10 पेजेस में 2 मिस्टेक्स निकले. टोटल 10 पेजेस में अगर देखा जाए तो 2 मिस्टेक्स, एंड 12 पेजेस में 3 मिस्टेक्स, right? So this if you are bifurcating in this way, so the data or the thing will be clearer, more clearer to use, so you can evaluate or you can analyze carefully or easily and fastly. So it is said that, see, times it saves time, money and labor, right? If we are classifying in a proper way, then it can save our time, money and labor for analyzing, right? Then here, number of printing mistakes per page is numeric variable, hence classification mentioned above is called a numerical classification, right? And variables, number variables यानी जो ये numbers दिए, ये variables जो है, जो xi है, वो हमारा numbers में है, that is called a number variable, numeric variable. The frequency table is formed by numerical classification of the data. Numeric variable may be discrete or continuous. Therefore, we get discrete frequency table, right? द वेरिएबल्स किसको बोलते हैं? जो क्लास और एक्साई होता है ना, जो फर्स्ट कॉलम होता है हमारा, उसको वेरिएबल्स का कॉलम बोलते हैं। तो वो हमारा एट्रीब्यूट में भी हो सकता है और न्यूमेरिक वे में भी हो सकता है। इट कैन बी इन क्वालिटेटिव एंड इट कैन बी इन क्वांटिटेटिव, राइट। जैसे इसमें नंबर्स दिए, कई में हम लोग क्या देते हैं, एज देंगे या फिर क्वालिफिकेशन देंगे या फिर डिग्रीज देंगे, या कुछ भी वेरिएबल्स में हो सकता है, राइट। So numeric variable may be discrete or continuous. Therefore, we get discrete frequency table or continuous frequency table by numerical classification of the data. Now, third question is explain the classification of qualitative data with a suitable illustration. अब qualitative यानी attribute wise अगर तुम्हारा variable में words दिए हैं, मतलब कई किसी categories दिए हैं, किसी चीज के numbers के अलावा कुछ भी दिया होगा, that is called a qualitative data. The classification of the data on the qualitative variable or an attribute is called a qualitative classification. Example C, है ना, ऐसा दिया हुआ देखो, यहाँ पे क्या दिया हुआ है, वर्ड्स दिए हुए है, किसी कलर्स के बारे में दिया है, कोई फ्लावर्स के बारे में देगा, कोई सपोज डिग्रीज के बारे में देगा, या फिर कोई कुछ भी हो सकता है, राइट। Selecting 50 flowers from a garden, the information on the colors of the flowers are obtained. It is observed from the data that 12 flowers are of white color, 10 flowers are of yellow color, 11 flowers red color, 12 flowers pink, and 15 flowers are blue. This data can be presented in the short by a table. यानी वो डेटा को हमें टेबल में कैसे हम लोग को फॉर्म करना है, कलर्स ऑफ द फ्लावर, दैट इज व्हाइट, येलो, रेड, पिंक एंड ब्लू। देन नंबर ऑफ फ्लावर्स, तो व्हाइट कलर में कितने फ्लावर्स है, 12, येलो कलर में 10, रेड कलर में 11। वो हमने ये स्टेटमेंट पूरा रीड किए बिना हमको डायरेक्टली पता चल रहा है, देखो व्हाइट 12 कलर के 12 फ्लावर्स, येलो कलर 10 फ्लावर्स, रेड कलर 11 फ्लावर्स, पिंक कलर 12 फ्लावर्स एंड ब्लू कलर 15 flowers. So total flowers हमारे पास कितने हैं, 60. So here the color of flower is quantitative variable. Therefore each such classification is called a classification of qualitative data. देखो ये जो white, yellow, red, pink जो colors के नाम दिए ना, ये जो variable है that is in the form of attribute or qualitative, right. तो अगर ये क्वांटिटेटिव में होता या न्यूमेरिकल फॉर्म में होता तो वो या तो डिस्क्रीट में कहलाएगा या तो फिर कंटिन्यूअस कहलाएगा। उसको हमको अरेंज करना है, किस तरीके से अरेंज भी करना है वो हमें करना है। Now write a short note on cumulative frequency distribution. Now sum of the frequencies up to the value of an observation or class is called a cumulative frequency, and its distribution is called a cumulative frequency distribution. Now two types of cumulative frequency distributions are there. One is less than type and the another is more than type, है ना। अब less than type cumulative में क्या होता है, the sum of the frequencies up to the specified value of the observation or a specified upper boundary point of a class is called a less than type cumulative frequency of that specified value or class, and the distribution is called a less than type cumulative frequency distribution. Here cumulative frequencies are in ascending order. Cumulative frequencies are always in ascending order, right. Zero से total तक, total से zero तक जो more than होता है, right. Less than is always in ascending and more than is always in descending, right. This type of definitions we have to learn by heart. Now what is more than type cumulative frequencies? The sum of all the frequencies of the specified value of the observations or the lower boundary point of the specified class and the values or classes succeeding to it is called a more than type cumulative frequency, and its distribution is called more than type cumulative frequency distribution. Here cumulative frequencies are in descending order. Okay, now see, I am simply reading the statement so that you can easily write whatever it is there. ये सब चीज हमने प्रैक्टिकली सम्स में देख लिया है, कर लिया है, तो हम लोग उसको जो हमने प्रैक्टिकली किया दैट वी हैव टू पुट इट इन अ स्टेटमेंट. Okay, so that's why I am simply reading this statements to show you how you have to write. You have to write. If you are writing from this videos, then also it's okay. Or if you have any other notes, then you can use that notes also. Okay. Now discuss the points. Now discuss the points for constructing continuous frequency distribution. Constructing means हम कैसे continuous frequency distribution बनाते हैं. So for constructing a continuous frequency distribution, the following points are to be considered. For preparing a continuous class बनाने के लिए हमें कई चीजें हैं जो याद रखनी है. What is that points? See, बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स है, इतने सारे नहीं लिखो. When the variables of the data is continuous or the range of the variable is large, continuous frequency distribution should be constructed. So first point, when we are देखो range find करते हैं ना, उसके बाद हम decide करते हैं कि ये discrete में जाएगा या फिर continuous. हमारा जो भी xi है class बनेगा या फिर variables में, मतलब discrete में जाना चाहिए, right? So first step towards that is to find range. और उससे पहले हम क्या find करते हैं? Minimum value and maximum value. Then we go to range. Range is maximum value minus minimum value is range. अगर range का आंसर बहुत बड़ा डिजिट है, राइट, बहुत बड़े बड़े डिजिट आ रहे हैं 100, 50, 80, 90, 100 या फिर 20 से भी ज्यादा होगा तो भी हम लोग क्लास के लिए ही ऑप्ट करेंगे. Okay, if the digit is less than 10, then we will go for a discrete frequency distribution. If it is more than 10 or 15, then we will go for a continuous frequency distribution. Right? Now, next point is generally the number of classes should be any number from 6 to 12, 6 to 15. Under special circumstances, the number of classes may be less than 6 or more than 15. Right? I told you this. कि हमारा जो भी क्लास बनता है that should be in between 6 to 15, यानी 6 minimum 6 and maximum 15, right? So under certain circumstances, some conditions are there where our classes go below 6 and go above 15. कई बार ऐसा होता है, कई rarely, it happens very rarely. Okay, so normally what we have to consider, एक चीज ध्यान में रखना है, minimum 6 classes होने चाहिए और maximum 15, उससे ज्यादा नहीं, 15 से ज्यादा नहीं, उससे कम. Okay. Third point, considering the number of classes K and the range of data R, class length is decided using the following formula. So how you are finding the class length? So first हमने range find किया, then you have to go for the class length, that is R upon K, range upon number of classes, right? That is, this is the formula of our class length. The value of the C, that is class length, is selected such that Ck should be greater than equal to R and C is a positive integer. Ck यानी multiply करोगे तो वो जो नंबर है Ck जो multiplication जो प्रोडक्ट आ रहा है that should be greater than R, right? Range से बड़ा होना चाहिए. Then generally the class length of each class is kept equal, right? Equal classes ही हम लोग हमेशा बनाते हैं, irregular class नहीं बनाते. जब भी हमारे हाथ में होता है ना क्लास बनाना है तो हम लोग इक्वल क्लास ही बनाते हैं. Okay, then but under the circumstances that range of the data is large, keeping in view the number of classes of different length can be constructed. But most of the cases when we are preparing the class, at the time we will be preparing a regular class only, class length equal class length रख के ही हम लोग class prepare करते हैं, right? और अगर क्वेश्चन दिया होता है, क्लासेस दिए होते हैं क्वेश्चन में, तो वो irregular हो सकता है, वो not an issue, वो तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. लेकिन जब भी हम प्रिपेयर करते हैं तो हम हमेशा ये देखते हैं कि हम इक्वल क्लास वाला ही क्लास लेंथ बनाएंगे और वो भी एक्सक्लूसिव बनाएंगे, राइट? Now usually the initial class should begin with the observation multiple of class length and the number of smaller than and close to the lowest observation of the data. यानी ये फर्स्ट क्लास का कंडीशन दिया. हम लोग फर्स्ट क्लास कैसे अरेंज करते हैं? अगर सपोज मैंने कहा कि मिनिमम तुम्हारा 2 है तो तुम लोग कैसे फाइंड करोगे? 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15 ऐसा कुछ अरेंज करोगे. 2 से नहीं स्टार्ट करना है हमको, राइट? वही चीज ये इसमें दिया हुआ. Now classes can be chosen either inclusive type such that 10 14, 10 to 14, 15 to 19, or exclusive that we have discussed many times. That type of class can be inclusive or exclusive, right? It is up to you how you have to find. And if it is given in the question, then you have to go for exactly what is given in the question. Right? Now, eighth one, for data on continuous variable, exclusive type of classes should be preferred, and when the range of the discrete data is a large one, then inclusive type of classes should be preferred. Okay. Now, this 8 points are given. इसमें से जो भी easy लगता है 5 points पढ़ते हैं, ठीक है? 5 या 6 points जो भी है, लेकिन सारे easy है, सारे लिख सकते हो, है ना? आप लोग तो हो स्मार्ट. लोग को तो सब आता है ना, कोई बात नहीं। चलो, अगर 5 पॉइंट्स एकदम परफेक्ट आता है और 3 पॉइंट्स आपको लिखना भी है और याद भी नहीं है तो ओन वर्ड्स में बना के लिख दो, कोई बात नहीं। ठीक है, नाउ 6, state the guiding rules for the construction of a table. Now, how you have to prepare your table. 1 minute. So, state the guiding rules for the construction of a table. In order to make the information more meaningful and to derive significant decisions easily from the table, some guiding rules for the construction of a good table are as follows. Now, the guiding rules for tabulation, first is appropriate title should be given. Right? First मैंने बोला heading देना है ना? जो मैंने इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया है बस वैसे ही तुम्हें स्टेटमेंट बनाना है. See, first what I am always saying that you have to give the heading. So here also the first thing is appropriate title should be given. Second is there should be clear and simple caption to the rows and columns. The rows and columns में जो तुम लोग देते हो ना, gender है या फिर class है या फिर marital status है, that is called the caption. And size of the table should be proportionate to the space available. Means वो जो space दिया है उसी में ही हमको एक concise table बनाना है, right? The interrelated information should be placed adjacent to each other. Large numbers should be represented in 100, 1000, lakhs or crores. Separate lines should be drawn to distinguish the main characteristics of the data. And provision for indicating the total of primary and subsidiary characters should be there in table. And large volume of data should be represented as a different tables instead of a single table. One minute. And a large volume of data should be presented in different tables instead of a single table. Sources of the data must be mentioned at the end of the table. And before preparing the final table, a rough table should be prepared. Yes, that I didn't tell you that, but if possible that you rough page जो होता है ना उसमें एक rough table बना के देख लो कि कैसे दिखेगा हमारा टेबल, है ना? रफली फर्स्ट यू हैव टू, या फिर पेपर में कहीं भी एक जगह पे एक बार रफली बना के देख लेना है कि कहाँ पर क्या आना चाहिए. जैसे सपोज इफ इट इज गिवन दैट स्किल्ड अनस्किल्ड दिया है, एक्सपीरियंस दिया है, देन मेल फीमेल जेंडर दिया है और मैरिड अनमैरिड ये सब दिया है, तो इन सब चीज को अरेंज कैसे करना है, एक रफली आप लोग एक टेबल बना के देख लेना, राइट? और बहुत बार प्रैक्टिस करने के बाद, वो तो आप करते ही हो, बहुत ज्यादा पढ़ाई करते हो ना, तो बहुत बार प्रैक्टिस करने के बाद उसको क्या बोलते हैं, आप लोगों को पता ही चल जाएगा कि कैसे टेबल फॉर्म करना है और किस कौन सी चीज को कहाँ लिखना है. ओके, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं पढ़, बहुत ज्यादा पढ़ने से भी प्रॉब्लम होता है ना? Okay, then before preparing the final table, a rough table should be prepared. That was the 10th point. Now let's see the 7th question, that state the uses of tabulation. And now tabulation is the process of systematic arrangement of qualitative or attribute row data into rows and or columns, right? What is tabulation? State the uses of tabulation. क्या use आता है हमको tabulation? So tabulation is the process of systematic arrangement of qualitative or attribute row data into row and column, and the uses are as follows. First is uses of tabulation is represent the extensive data in a simple, organized and precise manner. तो बहुत सारे डेटा दिए होते हैं ना, ऐसे पूरा स्टेटमेंट कैसे टैबुलेशन का क्वेश्चन होता है, पूरा एक पैराग्राफ होता है, right? One that all the datas are basically written in one paragraph only. So you have to arrange that in a systematic way, in such a way that it should be clear. It will be clear at one side that what is it given in that statement. Full one paragraph, one page का पूरे क्वेश्चन में क्या बताना चाह रहे हैं वो लोग, तो वो एक छोटे से टेबल में हमको समझ में आ जाता है, right? So first is represent the extensive data in a simple. Extensive यानी बहुत सारे data होते हैं, that should be in a simple, organized and in a precise number. Precise यानी छोटे से जगह पे हम जो बनाते हैं, that is called a precise number. अब second is required informations can be obtained easily. Various characteristics to be compared are placed side by side, hence comparison becomes easy. Row and columns total are found, hence error can be rectified easily. That I told you. Total some in some questions, in some solution they have not given the total column, but you have to prepare that total so that you can tally your numbers. मैंने कहा था ना tally कर सकते हैं हम लोग इन सबको ऐड करने से, टोटल अगर होगा तो जहां भी मिस्टेक होगा पता चल जाता है. Unnecessary information is removed, hence the time, money and labor required for the study of data is saved. The analysis of the data becomes simple and convenient. Now see, one question is there, obtain the original frequency distribution. I think I have explained this question, right? 7th तक मैंने theory था इसलिए मैंने opt कर दिया था, and we have started with the 8th question. Right, this 8th one we have completed. So let's see me whatever is left. Theory मैं complete करती हूँ. Now the 15th question. See, है ना, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Almost 7 questions मैंने explain कर दिए थे. Okay, now we'll see the 15th question. That is also one theory question. Explain the importance of diagram in a statistical study. Now the objective of diagram is to present data in a simple and interesting manner. It provides an impressive medium to present the data in attractive manner. Its importance in statistical study because becomes more obvious by below mentioned usages. Then first is attractive presentation. Diagram, why we are drawing a diagram? To make it attractive, to make it simple for the viewer who is seeing that, right? Attractive presentation. The presentation of the statistical data by diagrams are so attractive that the characteristics of the data can be remembered for a long time by the people who studies it. यानी attractive होगा तो हमारे दिमाग में बैठ जाता है वो चीज. So one second is clear presentation. The data, I told you that it should be in a very clear form. Congested नहीं होना चाहिए, right? So the data which is difficult to understand by its elaborations can be explained easily by diagram. Simple presentation, the complex data and can be easily explained by diagrams. यानी जो एकदम confusion create करता है ना कोई data, that can be explained easily by a diagram. Easy to compare, 2 or more data can be compared easily by diagram. जैसे सिंपल डिवाइडेड बार डायग्राम है ना, फैमिली ए एंड फैमिली बी का, तो किसका एक्सपेंस ज्यादा है, जिसका बार बड़ा होगा उसका एक्सपेंस ज्यादा होता है, वो एक ही बार में हमें समझ में आ जाता है. हेल्पफुल टू चिल्ड्रन एंड इलिटरेट्स, दैट वी हैव सीन. The presentation of the data by diagrams are very useful for illiterates, less educated and the children. The messages of the data can be understood without considering. Then considering the figures of data, diagram is a unique device to educate the children. डायग्राम जैसे कि सपोज डायग्राम हम वहां भी यूज करते हैं नर्सरी के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, जैसे कि हम लोग अगर 1, 2, 3 बोलेंगे तो उनको नहीं समझ में आएगा. अगर मैं बोलूँगी 1 + 1 क्या है, व्हाट इज 1 + 1, दे आर नॉट एबल टू गिव आंसर easily or speedily, or they will not take any interest. If I will show the cartoons, if one cartoon I will draw one cartoon plus I will draw another 2, 3 cartoons. अगर 1 फ्लावर ड्रॉ किया, अच्छे से एक फ्लावर ड्रॉ किया कलरफुल, प्लस 3 और फ्लावर्स ड्रॉ किए, तो आई विल से हाउ मेनी फ्लावर्स आर देयर, तो चिल्ड्रन एकदम इजीली मुझे बताएंगे कि 4 आर देयर. मींस वो लोगों को अट्रैक्शन दिखना चाहिए. स्मॉल चिल्ड्रन होता है ना, उनको वो अट्रैक्शन दिखना चाहिए, तो वो विल वो क्या करेंगे, जल्दी से हमको उसका उन लोग इंटरेस्टिंग इसका आंसर्स देंगे। आप लोगों को भी जब भी हम पढ़ाते हैं तो आप लोग अगर बिल्कुल कोऑपरेट नहीं करते तो वो टाइम पे हम लोग पढ़ाना रोक देते हैं, क्योंकि हमें पता चलता है कि बच्चे बोर हो रहे हैं या तो फिर वो एग्जॉस्ट हो चुके हैं। राइट, तो हमको भी वो समझ के आप लोग को पढ़ाना पड़ता है। या फिर ये स्टेज पे ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ नर्सरी के स्टूडेंट्स को, वी हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ यू आल्सो, यू आर आल्सो चिल्ड्रन, you are also sitting for 4 8 periods, so we have to think in a way that if you are able to listen, if you are able to understand, or if you are totally exhausted, then we will say yes, it's okay, today we will not learn, today we will not study anything, right? Then like this, teachers are giving 3 periods because okay. So that is I want to tell you that if the thing is attractive, then the children illiterate or the less educated person can easily understand what we are going to explain. So useful for a business and industries, the traders and the manufacturers can advertise their products effectively with the use of attractive diagrams. Okay. Then the useful in social science, the diagrams becomes mandatory to focus some important aspects in the sciences like psychology, economics, and sociology. Helps in social reforms. The diagrams are more effective to create desired impressions on the minds of people by different campaigns to educate different classes of society for removal of social vices and implanting social reforms. Then next is concise presentation. Concise means a short presentation. Large volume of the statistical data can be present promptly and in a concise form by diagram. Then uniform interpretations. The data represented by the diagrams can be easily understood irrespective of language barrier. इसमें कोई language नहीं होता, सिर्फ sign और diagrams ही होते हैं ना, right? So this is the 15th question. Now we'll see the 16th question. See. Write a short note on one-dimensional diagram. This I think I have explained. One-dimensional diagram. So there are two types of diagram. Oh, sorry, four types of diagram. Bar diagram, multiple bar diagram, simple divided bar diagram, and percentage divided bar diagram. So these are the four types of diagram. Okay. So this the definitions what I have explained that you have to write what I have told. What is divided bar diagram? ये सारे explanations मैंने कर दिए हैं. राइट, बार डायग्राम का सबका मैंने दे दिया है, बस वो जो पहले बताया वो लिख लो या तो फिर ये लिख लो. ठीक, ओके. दिस इज सिंपल और एडजेसेंट बार डायग्राम. अंदर नेम ऑफ मल्टीपल बार डायग्राम इज एडजेसेंट बार डायग्राम, देन सिंपल बार डिवाइडेड बार डायग्राम and percentage divided bar diagram. This many things are I have explained. Then next is 17th question. Short note on two-dimensional diagrams. How many two-dimensional diagrams are there? This also, children, I have explained before the diagram, before the graphs. I have explained all these things. Definitions मैंने सब करवा दिए. When the volume of the data is large, then considering both length and breadth, the diagram drawn is called a two-dimensional diagram. In two-dimensional diagram, the total value is shown as an area. Square, rectangle, circle, pie diagram are the two-dimensional diagrams. Here we are doing only circle and pie diagram. And circle diagram, and circle diagram means when the volume of the data regarding two or more places, things or times is large than the for such data. So this is the definition. So see, all these definitions I have explained. The circle diagram, pie diagram, and all these definitions I have explained. So that only the same thing you have to write whatever I have explained in between that before the graphs. Before explaining the graphs, whatever definitions I have given, that only you have to learn. Okay. Now next is explain pictogram with an illustration. See, pictogram also we have done. So diagram in which the data are represented by selecting an appropriate picture is called a pictogram. And one example also you can give. If the data is related to the yields of wheat are given, then it can be shown by uh, symbols of wheat. The pictures of wheat are drawn in proportion to the amount of the given data. Pictogram is such a diagram that is draws quick attention to the viewers. By pictogram, the data can be easily understood by illiterate, less educated people and by children. Pictogram has no barrier of language. Hence, the data can be easily understood by the people of any region because we pictogram makes simple like diagram, very simple diagram because in that we are using the pictures. It is not necessary if crops के बारे में बोला है तो then you have to draw the picture of crop. It is not necessary. You can draw any picture. Right? सबका drawing अच्छा है ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. You can draw any pictures. If possible, try to use the symbols what is asked in the related to the question only. Crop के बारे में पूछा है तो crop. अगर किसी पर्सन के बारे में पूछा देन यूज दैट राइट. अगर किसी चीज के बारे में अगर प्रोडक्शन ऑफ ए चॉकलेट बोला है तो चॉकलेट ड्रॉ करो यानी अगर पॉसिबल है तो यू हैव टू गो फॉर द पिक्चर्स व्हाट इज गिवन रिलेटेड टू द क्वेश्चन ओनली. ओके, so here we are ending the question of 18th question. So I think most of all the theory I have completed. Let's see if anything is left I will be explaining in the next video. Okay, thank you so much.